when all the while you are behind the scenes or behind the stage, operating the lights, operating the microphone, and putting the people who are going to be on front stage to make you believe that you're seeing something completely different. AIDS is a fallacy from the beginning. So what is this campaign that was waged? We must use our intelligence when we begin to break down the information, even when it comes out blaring from inside of the Pentagon that they're waging biochemical warfare. Yeah, okay, good. They're waging biochemical warfare. Well, let's see actually how they're doing it, because if you follow the bouncing ball that medical science gives you, then you will be lost. You will be caught up in the artificial synchronicity that they're setting up, the artificial pulse that they gave to their Frankenstein. It ain't alive. It's alive based upon what they've invested in that Frankenstein monster. So you see it walking around destroying villages, you think, ah, that's the monster. No, it's the motherfucker that leashed it out in the laboratory. And when you study who created it and understand how the dynamics of life work, you will understand that you could never catch AIDS unless certain things are in place first. And that being, you destroy the earth, fire, air, water, the four principles, the W-O-R-D of God. You destroy the basic elements that allow the body to live in health. When you do that, then any effect that comes from that, anything you do through the 13 to 34 different vaccinations you give a child before it reaches the age of 13, will always give you some kind of symptomatologies that you can always categorize and put under the name of AIDS or acquired immune deficiency. The war is not with HIV, because there's no such thing. The HIV, the human immunity deficiency virus, was proved by Peter Duesberg and this other sister, this other woman in Australia. I got to get her name. Blew the whole myth apart about HIV. Yet still, Boyd E. Graves and the brothers and sisters who are touting this germ warfare bullshit don't want to understand that what they are saying to you about this germ is not valid, because it has been proven that HIV is benign when left of its own accord, left alone. The only time HIV can usher you to AIDS is if there are mitigating circumstances introduced in between that time. And the number one thing introduced at that time is drugs. You cannot be marshaled from HIV to AIDS unless there is a campaign, a protracted system of drugging. And by the time you go from HIV diagnosis to the time you are into full-blown AIDS and in your hospital bed dying, you have gone through some 57 different types of drugs. So we must look at the fact that in the artificial synchronicity in language, that they have set up a parameter of conversation that keeps you locked into the illusion that once you step out of that conversation and look at this thing called HIV/AIDS from outside of the dynamics of synthetic synchronicity, you begin to see that they have you in it, they pull you into the language in order to have the power over you. If you don't ascribe to the language, you do not fall into the trap, and thus you don't have to prove anything based on what they have set up to be proven. They are constantly trying to legitimize their reason to be, because they keep the media constantly telling you that this is what the deal is, this is what the deal is. And you now, based on synchronicity, you have to have everything in pulse for yourself. So you put it into pulse and you say, well, damn, AIDS is deep, man. You know, we got to come out there and, boy, you ask anybody on the street, what is AIDS? And they'll tell you, well, that's the disease you get from the virus HIV. Are you sure? Yeah. How the fuck do you know? I can't believe black people still believe what these Caucasoid devils in those places, those temples of death, are saying after, what, 2,000 years and this motherfucker lying to you? 2,000 years he been lying, stealing, murdering, genociding your people, and you still believe him. You adopt the language. You fall into that artificial synchronicity. You use his words to define a reality that doesn't exist. You give life by your attention to that bullshit. And you pay with your lives. When you pay attention to that, you pay with your lives. That is the price of your attention to artificial synchronicity. You pay with your lives when you pay attention to that. Because your attention is focus, and your focus is mind. And mind creates. It is a creator. Anybody walking into a doctor's office right now and saying, we found a certain T-cell, and you've been this, so you have the HIV. We can recommend that you start on this, and this. And we caught it early, so there's a 50-50 chance that you will not go into AIDS. And you're sitting there like, God damn, everything that the synchronicity, the public synchronicity and the overlord has given to you starts flaring up. Oh shit, I got HIV. Oh man, who I gotta tell? I gotta tell the other 1,000 people that may have been making love to me, you start punking out. Right there in the office, you turn to Jello. You're played into it. Let me give you an example. Tell me if you recognize this. I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that. When I put it in my mouth, Matrix is telling me, my brain, that this is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I've realized? Ignorance is a blessing. Then we have a deal. I don't want to remember nothing. I want to be rich. Someone important, like an actor. Whatever you want, Mr. Reagan. Oh, that went right over the heads of people. They dropped it on you in the Matrix. Whatever you want, Mr. Reagan. I want to be an actor. Somebody important? The fuck is an actor important? The only time an actor is truly important is when he or she is on the stage and not in no goddamn movie. And when that stage performance is tearing at the heart of the bullshit that you live every day. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become important. You see. Do you remember that one, don't you? The reality is that there is no reality. Let's just check that for a moment. The reality to everything that you are now trying to encompass so that you become comfortable. You walk out of here, you go left, and then you go into the subway, you take the subway, you go there, you get up, you go into your house, you got your home. That ain't reality. We don't know what reality is because everyone in here is in the Matrix. Your thoughts, everything you plan tomorrow and the next day has preceded you. Have you sat down and contemplated what you will do without the Matrix tomorrow? You can't. Because even if you are contradictory to the Matrix and you are setting up the revolutionary side to attack the Matrix, you are still controlled by the Matrix because your reactions are under the auspices of the Matrix. They act, you react. No one is acting upon their own volition because all your thoughts have been synchronized. That's some disheartening shit. I ain't even got a thought in my head that doesn't belong to them. Because even the books we read on African history was from what them pimps went in there and stole and lied and put in about. We don't even have our own goddamn history. The Matrix put our fucking history together. Very few people are down there in the pits like Dr. Van Sertima and other peoples who are there digging inside of this shit, who don't want to deal with it, who are taking no quarters. Dr. J for one of them. Fuck all of them. I like what he says.